as I stepped into our living room, sunlight streamed through the tall windows, casting a warm glow that illuminated the space where I had spent countless hours tending to the home we shared. But today, the light felt harsh, an unwelcome witness to the turmoil bubbling just beneath the surface. There it lay, a phone resting innocently on the couch, buzzing incessantly like a stubborn insect. My pulse quickened, the uneasy feeling coiling in my stomach as I approached. I picked it up, noting the familiar logo decorated with countless memories of family photos and shared messages. The name that flashed on the screen sent a jolt of recognition through me. Emily, my sister, my confidant, always supportive during the tumultuous times in our marriage. But as I opened the message, the room tipped on its axis and every breath I took felt heavier. "Can't wait to see you tonight, Emily, just us. I miss you." The shock hit me like a bucket of ice water, the coldness seeping into my veins and freezing my heart. My mind reeled, a cacophony of disbelief and betrayal crashing like waves. How could this be happening? How could he do this to me? My name is Jessica. I'm 35, and until today, I thought I understood my marriage, our life, our dreams, our love. Mark's laughter filtered in from the kitchen, carefree and unbothered, the warmth of it contrasting sharply with the chill coursing through my bones. My world, which had once seemed bright, was now engulfed in darkness. How could he find joy in cooking breakfast while I was drowning in a sea of heartbreak? Each beep of the phone was a hammer striking at my dignity, each buzz an unbearable reminder of the betrayal looming over me. I dropped the phone as if it were a hot coal, my heart racing while waves of rage and sorrow vied for dominance within. I couldn't comprehend the depth of the betrayal. It felt as if the ground had crumbled beneath me. Mark, my husband of nearly a decade, had not only sought the comfort of another woman, but had betrayed the trust of the very person who stood by him silently, always prioritizing his needs above my own. He thought leaving me in the shadows would be easy, but he underestimated the light I could still find. The thought flickered in my mind, resilient and unexpected. Perhaps it was time to shine. A swell of determination surged through me amidst the chaos. Anger coursed through my veins, pushing me forward as I grabbed the phone again, seething at the thought of Mark's betrayal. He had assumed I was just a backdrop in the theater of his life, quietly supporting his ambitious dreams while suppressing my own. I secured my heart behind fortified walls, investing every ounce of love and care into our home and nurturing him as he flourished in his career. Memories cascaded through my mind uninvited, the countless nights I sacrificed my own aspirations for his sake, the late nights filled with hollow laughter, my longing eyes brimming with concern whenever he returned home, emotionally exhausted. I recalled the look in his eyes when I tried to share my thoughts or dreams, the way he dismissed my intellect, as if it was an irritating fly buzzing in the room that he wished I could swat away. In those moments, he had stripped me of my voice, my power, my identity. With my breath returning to a more steady cadence, I felt the weight of the decision surging within me, a quiet resolve forging an ember of resilience. I would not be victimized by this betrayal. I would gather the courage to unveil the truth that lay hidden within the shadows where he believed I would remain confined. It was time for his illusion of control to shatter. The sound of his laughter echoed once more, but there was an underlying irritation too, an unsettling confidence in his tone that belied his perception of my worth. It only fueled my resolve. reminding me that while he had his sister wrapped around his finger, he had underestimated my strength and adaptability. I had chosen silence until now, but I would harness that silence and craft it into an arsenal of stealthy power. The walls in our home felt like a cage around me, but a spark ignited within. Each detailed corner decorated with memories of love now transformed into avenues for revelation. I could become the architect of my liberation, dismantling the web of deceit that Mark had spun through my sister. The thought motivated me further, breathing life into a plan, one powered by determination, fueled by rage, a trajectory I would follow to reclaim my dignity, piece by piece. Mark's quiet assurance that I would never meet him on equal ground was a miscalculation, perhaps his most grievous one. Because beneath the surface I was still there, still fighting for the Jessica that had faded into the shadows. I would not remain shrouded in his neglect any longer. The betrayal was the spark I needed, clearing the cobwebs from my mind, igniting a fire that would guide me through the darkness and lead me to the light, a light I would find and embrace fiercely as I plodded my way forward. As my heart steadied, I decided to put the phone down and show Mark just how wrong he was to think I was just a shadow. I would no longer blend into the background. I would emerge and I would make my mark. My story would continue, and I would have the final word. The hum of the ceiling fan was the only sound that accompanied me as I lay on the couch, now rebranded as my refuge in this unexpected exile. The cushions, once familiar and comforting, felt foreign beneath me, tainted by the weight of betrayal that hung in the air. I could hear Mark bustling about in the kitchen, the rhythmic sounds of pots clattering and water running, completely oblivious to the storm brewing within me. This unwelcome separation was already changing the way I perceived this space. It smelled of stale dreams, of possibilities that had twisted themselves into nightmarish realities. The guest room had been my sanctuary for a while, but now it served as a taut reminder of my isolation. I stared at the ceiling, where shadowed thoughts mingled with memories, tugging me back to earlier days, happier times when I still believed in the love and promises we had made. I remembered one evening vividly. We were nestled on the couch, wrapped in each other's arms, giggling over a shared joke. I had shared my aspirations of becoming a graphic designer, the passion swirling within me like a painter's palette filled with vibrant colors. His voice was melodic, bursting with encouragement as he said, "You have such a brilliant mind, Jess. You should pursue what makes you happy." Yet, as his career took flight, my dreams faded into wishful thinking, reduced to a quiet whisper in the background. I closed my eyes, letting the memories wash over me, like waves on an endless shore. There was the day he had come home after a long week, his eyes dull and lifeless. I had prepared his favorite meal, the comforting smell of roasted chicken filling the air. Instead of expressing gratitude, he had brushed me aside, too eager to dive into work concerns. It was as though he had been flying high for so long that he forgot I existed, tethered to the earth below, waiting for him to return. In stark contrast to those moments, I thought of the countless nights oscillating between caring for him and denying myself. I held my own silence, soothing his anxieties after rough days while my own ambitions were left unattended, gathering dust in the closet of unfulfilled dreams. I recalled the shame that seeped into my heart when he looked at me as if I were an ancient relic, fading with time. The pain stung like freshly cut roses, beautiful yet laced with thorns. The stagnation had forged chains around my identity, and I had felt every link tighten whenever he brushed aside my opinions or silenced my voice. Now, as I lay on the couch, I felt those chains clanging in my mind. They were heavy, forged from the grinding years of self-denial, but now I saw them for what they were, a choice I had made out of love, misguided as it may have been. Yet, in this moment of solitude, I recognized the silence I inhabited was no longer a prison, but the fertile ground from which resilience would grow. No more would I abide in a world where I felt small. And as I grasped this revelation, something deep within me stirred and shook off the dust of neglect. I took a deep breath, the air heavy but clean, cleansing me of the vestiges of despair. Mark's laughter faded into muffled noise, and I allowed myself to feel everything: anger, resentment, emptiness, but also determination. I would use this exile to cultivate my strength, to rediscover who I was apart from him. My sister's betrayal weighed heavy on my heart, but I recognized it for what it was, the spark that ignited the fire of my awakening. Now more than ever, I was resolute to rebuild my life. I envisioned myself in a new role, rising not in response to Mark's demands, but to my own aspirations and desires. I began to think of tangible steps I could take to reclaim my identity. I realized that my first step would be to gather proof of Mark's deceit. I needed clarity, not just for myself, but to protect what was rightfully mine. With the silent assurance of impending action, I rose from the couch, wiping away remnants of self-pity, ghostly fingers that tried to cling on to me. I was ready. As I moved through the house, I collected myself. It was time to scour every nook and cranny, searching for the scraps of truth that lay hidden, possibly forgotten in the chaos. Each room would become an ally. Every forgotten drawer could hold a piece of the puzzle that would illuminate the veils of deception. I ventured into the home office where Mark conducted his business affairs, his sanctuary filled with papers and falsehoods. I opened a drawer, the wood cold under my fingers, searching through invoices and statements. What I needed was evidence of the affair, any hint that could weave a narrative from the lies. The documents spilled out underneath my touch, a flurry of possibilities unfolding before me. I thumbed through the papers, feeling the sharp edges of my decisions cut deeply into my motivations, but also into my newfound strength. I was no longer the passive observer. I was the architect of my fate. The night stretched on, renewing my resolve, and in those moments I promised myself that I would emerge from this unscathed, not just surviving but living again. I would find the light and walk boldly into my new life, a life where I was not defined by anyone else's choices but my own. The path ahead would not be easy, but it would be mine. With a measured breath, resolute in my determination, I whispered to the shadows that still chased me, "This is just the beginning." With renewed determination, I devoted the nights to meticulously collecting evidence, transforming my role from a passive observer into a vigilant detective. Each room in our home morphed into a battlefield, every drawer a potential treasure chest of truths awaiting discovery. I was relentless in my search, fueled by a fierce need for clarity, a clarity that would help me reclaim my life. The home office, once a sanctuary for Mark, now felt like my domain. The cold wood of the desk sent chills through my fingers as I opened the drawers, sifting through a melange of invoices and statements. With each page I turned, my heart raced, searching for any glimmer of proof that could untangle this web of lies. The first breakthrough emerged unexpectedly, a redacted email thread discussing financial ventures that felt foreign and unauthorized. A payment to an unfamiliar online domain caught my eye, its implications swirling with questions that demanded answers. Something deep within me began to awaken, igniting a fire that had lain dormant for too long. I grasped the edges of the revelation, aware of how significant it could be. As dawn approached, the flickering light illuminated an arduous journey that had led me to this moment. I stumbled upon a cache of text messages on Mark's phone, intimate exchanges that were not meant for my eyes but revealed a sordid affair. "Let's meet tomorrow. Same place. I can't keep doing this without seeing you," one message read. The sting of betrayal pricked at my heart, but within that sting lay clarity. I was no longer the woman who accepted neglect with grace. I was ready to fight back. My fingers, trembling with determination, flew across the keyboard as I searched how to retrieve deleted text messages from an iPhone. The adrenaline coursed through my veins, propelling me forward with each search. After countless attempts, I finally managed to recover a trove of messages. What I uncovered was a tapestry of deceit woven with lies, an intricate picture of betrayal featuring Mark at its center. "Don't worry about Jessica finding out. I've ensured access to everything. You'll be safe." My breath caught in my throat. This chilling assertion reinforced the truth of Mark's betrayal. He thought he could control the narrative, thought I would flee from the harshness of reality. But he had only succeeded in fanning the flames of my resolve. He underestimated me. He assumed I was weak, tied to his shadows. But this revelation ignited a fierce resilience within me. Memories spooled through my mind, moments when his words cut deeper than any knife, belittling my ambitions, diminishing my worth. Each sharp memory fortified my determination, crystallizing my decision to fight for the life I deserved. I would no longer be a victim of his insipid cruelty. I was reclaiming the person I had lost along the way. So, I began to draft a timeline of events, documenting each lie Mark had spun in a bid to construct my own compelling narrative. The details stitched together were no longer fragments but a well-woven testament to his deceit. I could expose him. I could protect myself. And the sense of empowerment surged through me like a tidal wave, drowning out the whispers of doubt that had lingered too long. As the sunlight spilled into the room, I realized that I wasn't just gathering evidence. I was gathering strength. The clarity became invigorating. I was shedding the layers of fear and self-doubt that had crept over me like ivy suffocating a once resilient tree. He thought leaving me in the shadows would be easy, but he underestimated the light I could still find. The words resonated in my mind, reinforcing my intention and igniting the fire in my belly. Confronting Mark was no longer a matter of choice. It was a necessity, a declaration of independence from a life devoid of respect. With every piece of evidence collected, I felt the impending confrontation approaching. My heart beat aggressively, but I remained steady in my conviction. The path would not be without its thorns. After all, I had faced degrees of pain that were unfamiliar. But I was fortified now, the warmth of purpose cradling me through the uncertainty. As twilight lingered over the horizon, each layer of betrayal I uncovered felt like a shield protecting me from the inevitable clash. I caught sight of myself in the reflection of the window, and for the first time in a long while, I recognized the woman staring back. A woman who was ready to reclaim not just her dignity, but her life. I was no longer merely surviving. I was preparing to fight to live on my terms. Mark had assumed I would be a shadow. Instead, I would rise to meet him in the light. The reckoning was approaching, and with every breath I embraced the clarity of my purpose. I would not only confront the man who had betrayed me, I would emerge victorious, unshackled from the chains of his lies, and step boldly into my new life. As the sun bathed the room in warm hues, I felt the weight of what lay ahead press against me. I wasn't just preparing to confront Mark. I was delving deep into the abyss of his deceit. Equipped with the evidence I had painstakingly gathered, it was time to explore his world further, beyond the pages of messages and bank statements, into a realm where secrets could be hidden. My days turned into a relentless routine of investigation. I started with our financial records, meticulously combing through each transaction. Armed with a highlighter in hand, I scrutinized every bill and invoice, noting discrepancies that spoke volumes. Mark had been reckless, and his hubris would be his downfall. Each document seemed to unveil a deeper layer of betrayal. Realizing that a profound investigation required more than just numbers, I traveled to the library. It was a sanctuary from my chaotic reality, filled with the comforting scent of old books and the quiet hum of life that once brought me joy. I gained access to databases and began to piece together his financial dealings. Hours faded easily into this new purpose. I felt emboldened, each new discovery reinforcing my resolve. Amidst my research, I kept pushing myself beyond what I thought possible. Weeks flew by in this pursuit of truth, each day a mix of liberation and tedium. I became accustomed to late nights and early mornings, my resolve hardening as I maneuvered through the elaborate web Mark had weaved, hoping to uncover the truth beneath the layers of his deception. The air felt charged with possibility when I decided to reach out to Sarah, a mutual friend. Her insight into Mark's business affairs had the potential to unlock yet another mystery. We met at our favorite cafe, the undertaking swirling with nostalgia but infused with anxiety. I leaned closer, keeping my voice steady. "Do you know how Mark's recent project is going? I heard it involves some unusual investments." Her brow furrowed a fraction. "Honestly, he seems off lately. I overheard him mention a secret deal and a business trip coming up," she replied confidently. Her words struck like a bell. This was the lead I had been searching for. If I could uncover more about this secret deal, perhaps it would pull back the curtain on the life Mark had built behind my back. I needed to find out where he was going and what he was planning. With determination surging through me, I began investigating his travel habits, tracking potential flights for any unexpected destinations. I noted down everything I could, a careful analysis of patterns. Suddenly, ordinary routines turned suspect as I pieced the puzzle together, the small dots connecting where once they had scattered across my mind like remnants of a broken dream. Though thrilling, this investigation ignited memories of my past life, moments when I was engulfed in his undertones that belittled my ambitions. I had unwittingly traded my dreams for his expectations, but now I reclaimed that freedom with every discovery I made. As twilight crept into my life, I fortified myself against the emotional fragments that threatened to surface, knowing my potential lay in this silent pursuit. During one late-night session, I stumbled upon an app that displayed flight information. I crossed my fingers as I consulted it, praying my suspicions would find validation. The revelation narrowed down his travel patterns with remarkable precision, illuminating connections to the scattered clues I had found earlier. As I inched closer to the truth, I reached out to a financial advisor I had met at a charity event, desperate for more insight. Meeting in her office, I felt a mix of hope and urgency. "I'm worried about some missing funds and unusual activity in my husband's accounts," I divulged, the tremor in my voice unmistakable. Her eyes narrowed slightly as I spoke, a flicker of concern crossing her face. "You need to be careful," she cautioned. "Irregularities can spell trouble. If your husband is involved, this could get very complicated." Beneath her gaze, I sensed a shift. The gravity of my suspicions became even clearer, and I understood the battle ahead. I was no longer merely a victim in a fraught marriage, but a woman armed with information and purpose. Each dissected document and ripped page drew me closer to confrontation. Every piece of evidence fortified my resolve. I felt like a storm gathering momentum as I prepared to unleash the truth on Mark. This wasn't just about revealing lies, it was about reclaiming my life from the shadows he had cast around me. As I sat in the flickering light of my living room that evening, piecing the last threads of deception together, I saw a reflection of who I had become, a force risen from the ashes of heartbreak and betrayal. It was time to act. It was time to claim my destiny. The reckoning was nigh, and with every breath, I welcomed the clarity that ignited my purpose. Determined and equipped with the power of truth, I was no longer merely surviving. I was ready to fight, ready to emerge victorious in a world I would redefine. Mark had thought he could keep me hidden in the shadows, but I would stand before him illuminated, demanding the life I deserved, and would finally claim as my own. It was a moment long overdue. The universe had aligned and my new life beckoned. The last pieces of the puzzle were falling into place, and with them came an exhilarating sense of empowerment. As I stared at the evidence I had so carefully gathered, bank statements strewn across the table, chronicles of deceit scribbled in my notebook, I could finally see the contours of my justice plan taking shape. This was no longer merely a reaction to Mark's betrayal. It was a methodical approach to regain my life and dignity with intention. In the quiet of the household, now tinged with tension, I began to outline my approach. I felt an old, familiar part of myself rise, one that had long lain dormant under the weight of his complacency. I needed to confront Mark head-on, but I also needed to ensure that I had all my bases covered. The first step was timing, choosing the right moment when he was least likely to act defensively. I pondered over his schedule, recalling all those business trips and late nights spent with his work. It didn't take long to identify a pattern, and I could foresee when he might be distracted or dismissive. In the approaching weeks, I meticulously crafted a plan designed to lay bare the truth. I wrote everything down, creating a strategic outline of points I would address, evidence I would present, and questions I needed to pose, questions that had long been left unanswered. I noted how the planned encounter would unfold, visualizing myself standing tall, a woman determined to reclaim her rights. Simultaneously, I took precautions to safeguard my interests. I consulted with a lawyer, leveraging the knowledge I'd acquired about Mark's financial dealings to fortify my position. During our meeting, I conveyed my fears while outlining the evidence I had compiled. Each word I spoke felt like a stone cast into still water, creating ripples that would eventually reach the surface. "We will need to document everything thoroughly," the lawyer advised as he flipped through my papers. "You're in a strong position. He won't expect this level of organization. If we expose this at the right moment, it will give you leverage, especially regarding any financial claims. His words echoed the very sentiments I had been cultivating in my heart. I could feel the walls of my uncertainty begin to crumble. I was transitioning from victim to victor, and it was exhilarating. With each passing day, I became more prepared, wrapping myself in the prospect of liberation. The next piece of my justice plan involved gathering allies. I knew I couldn't face Mark alone. I reached out to a few close friends and trusted family members, individuals who knew the nuances of my life and the weight of my situation. Each response reinforced my resolve. "Your strength is admirable," my friend Rachel said during coffee one afternoon, her eyes reflecting unwavering belief. "We'll be here for you, no matter what happens." The validation from my circle enveloped me like a warm blanket, reminding me that I was not alone in this fight. Each interaction strengthened my resolve and fueled my intention to reclaim my life. Finally, the fateful day arrived, laden with a storm of emotions swirling within me. I held my breath as I walked through the door, the air thick with tension. Mark, unaware of the reality that awaited him, was seated at the dining table, scrolling through his phone. I could hear the hollow sound of his laughter, an unsettling reminder of the facade he had maintained for so long. I took a moment to gather myself, centering my thoughts as I gripped the edges of my plan. With deliberate steps, I moved toward him, my heart pounding in rhythm with the purpose I now embraced. "Mark," I began, the sound of my own voice steadying me. "We need to talk." He looked up, momentarily startled before regaining his composure, the familiar dismissiveness creeping into his expression. "Can't this wait? I have meetings to get back to." "No," I replied firmly, placing a folder in front of him. "This can't wait any longer." As he hesitated, the disbelief on his face gave way to an expression I couldn't quite place. But I didn't waver. I knew the storm was coming, and I was prepared to expose it. With careful precision, I laid out my evidence, methodically turning each page and watching the transformation of his expression from nonchalance to confusion, and eventually to panic. I didn't hesitate to confront him about the irregularities and intertwining financial secrets, unraveling the web of deceit he had spun so skillfully. "Who's Jessica? What's this payment for? You need to explain," I demanded, the intensity of my voice rising. As the realization of exposure settled on him, I could see the battle waging within. He had underestimated my strength and fortitude, now forced to confront not only the evidence, but the woman he had tried to suppress. "I can explain everything," he stammered, the confident facade crumbling as the threads of his lies fell away. "No more lies, Mark. This is about accountability," I declared, fueled by the collective determination I had cultivated within myself and the people who stood behind me. Higher stakes meant higher resolve, and as I faced him, I felt triumphant. My voice, once whispering in the shadows of doubt, now reverberated with the echoes of truth. My justice plan was unfolding just as I had envisioned, and I could almost taste the freedom that awaited on the other side. In that moment, I understood without a shred of grief that this was not merely an ending. It was the beginning of my new life, a life defined not by his choices, but by my own fierce resilience. The moment hung heavy in the air, charged with unspoken words as I glared at Mark, determined to uncover the truth. "Mark," I began, my voice steadier than I felt, "we need to talk." He looked up, startled, his calm facade cracking. "Can't this wait? I have meetings to get back to." No, I asserted, placing the folder between us. This can't wait any longer. His initial disbelief morphed into confusion, a shadow of dread starting to creep in. I felt a wave of empowerment wash over me, preparing to unveil the evidence of his betrayals. As I methodically laid out the facts, I watched his expression shift from flippant ease to panic. "Who's Jessica? What's this payment for?" My voice rose with conviction. "You need to explain." I could see him wrestling within himself, the weight of his lies crashing down. "I can explain everything," he stammered, his bravado crumbling like a fragile wall. "No more lies, Mark. This is about accountability," I declared. Fueled by the resolve simmering within, I was no longer the woman he had tried to suppress. I was ready to reclaim my reality. The air thickened with tension as the truth bore down upon him. My carefully crafted justice plan was unfurling right before my eyes. "You've deceived not just me, but everyone who believed in you." I pressed on, my heart racing as the pieces clicked into place. "You don't understand," he exploded in frustration, attempting to regain control. "This is all just business." I shook my head, dismissing his protests. "You think I'm here for a negotiation? You've treated me like a fool. When were you going to stop hiding behind excuses?" I could feel the fire in my spirit, a sense of refusal to remain shackled by his deceit. Mark leaned back in his chair, falling quiet, and I pressed forward. "There's no need for theatrics. You've left me with no choice but to expose you. This will end today." For a moment, the room was enveloped in silence, the gravity of his dishonesty hanging palpably between us. I sensed the transformation in him, the realization that his carefully constructed life was teetering on the brink of collapse. "Shame on you for thinking you could pull this off without consequences," I continued, my words slicing through the stillness like a knife. As I confronted him with the evidence, the mismatched accounts, the hidden transactions, each detail felt like pulling back the curtain on years of betrayal. "You've played with our lives, Mark. I deserve the truth, and I deserve better." The tension reached a boiling point, and I welcomed it. It felt like liberation to finally use my voice. Mark shifted in his seat, seeking any semblance of dominance, but it was too late. "You're making a mistake," he warned, his tone shifting from anger to desperation. "You don't want this fight." "I'm not afraid of you," I declared, unflinching. "What you've built is a house of cards, and I'm done playing along. You will face the consequences of your actions." His smugness began to melt away as the impact of my words settled in. The reality of his actions was crumbling, leading him to a vulnerable position he couldn't hide from. "You don't know what you're doing," he replied weakly, almost pleading. "On the contrary," I shot back, the weight of fear I used to carry dissolving with every word I spoke. "I know exactly what I'm doing. This is not just about you and me. It's about rebuilding my life. I won't be your shadow any longer. I choose to step into the light." With that, I felt a rush of resolve surge within me. I wasn't just confronting him, I was dismantling a legacy of deceit that had shackled me for too long. I'm reclaiming my dignity, and you will not dictate how this ends. As I finished speaking, Mark's arrogance shifted to a deeper panic. He felt the ground shifting beneath him, the facade that had protected his selfish desires starting to shatter. I had come to reclaim what was mine, and I wouldn't take no for an answer. "Mark, you've had the advantage for too long. Today, the tables have turned," I said, my heart pounding with a mix of fear and triumph. I have no intention of hiding anymore. I deserve a life defined by truth and respect. I will not let this go unchecked. The silence that enveloped us held a weight that was almost palpable. It was the calm before a storm, and I knew it would be the last piece of leverage I needed before I walked away from all of this. As I took a deep breath, grounding myself, I realized this confrontation wasn't about vengeance. It was about liberation. The rising tide of my resolve swept over me like a wave, ready to wash away the remnants of his lies. It was time for closure, for a new beginning that awaited just beyond the horizon. I turned to leave, the knowledge that I had faced the man who had broken me now lighting my way forward. The power was no longer his, it was mine, and I would embrace it fully. In that moment, I stepped into the unknown, ready to embrace my new life, one defined by resilience, clarity, and an unwavering commitment to myself. As I walked away from Mark, the weight of his presence lifted with each step. The air felt lighter, and with every breath, I could feel the shackles of our toxic relationship fall away. I no longer felt the burden of his choices pressing down on me. The path ahead was uncertain, but it shimmered with the promise of change, a change I had longed for through years of silence and complicity. In the days that followed, I immersed myself in the actions necessary to rebuild my life. No longer did I wake up to the smell of coffee brewing for Mark, nor did I navigate the minefield of his cold detachment. Instead, my mornings began with a ritual entirely my own. The aroma of fresh herbs as I chopped them for my breakfast, sunlight filtering through the kitchen window, illuminating the vibrant colors of fruits and vegetables I now adored. I began taking walks in the nearby park, where the sound of laughter from children playing brought a warmth to my heart. I'd sit on a bench, allowing the world around me to sink in. The beauty of bright flowers, the rustling leaves, and the symphony of birdsong felt like a healing balm to my soul. Each day, I found moments of peace and clarity, reclaiming pieces of myself I thought I had lost. Connecting with friends I had neglected during my marriage became a source of strength. I braved phone calls that once felt daunting, and the warmth in their voices soothed the tattered edges of my heart. "We missed you," Rachel said one afternoon over coffee. Her smile was genuine, and I drank in the acceptance and love that washed over me. "It's time for me to reclaim my life," I confessed, my voice steady. "I've closed a door, and it has opened more than I ever anticipated." The small victories, like finding the courage to join a painting class or attend yoga at the community center, ignited a joy I thought I'd lost. On the canvas, I splashed colors without restriction, allowing emotions to flow freely. Each stroke felt like a dismissal of the past, a farewell to the years spent hiding in another's shadow. My newfound autonomy extended into practical matters. I consulted with a financial advisor and, armed with the evidence I had collected, set to work untangling Mark's deceptive web. I found myself becoming a formidable woman, a decision maker, engaged in discussions regarding investments and future plans. The empowerment coursed through me like a river, turbulent yet cleansing. As I rebuilt my foundation, a sense of unease lingered, remnants of the fear Mark had instilled in me. After long days at work, I often found myself lying awake at night, grappling with memories that haunted me. I removed pictures of the two of us from the walls, the memories of happier times, becoming bittersweet reminders of the life once shared. Yet, every time I faced the stillness of my bedroom, I could feel the edges of my new identity whispering gently, urging me to embrace this next chapter. Months passed, and as I ventured further into this new life, I felt the past receding. My confidence grew, and I began to participate in community events, finding a cluster of supportive people around me who resonated with my journey. We shared laughter, stories, and encouragement, so different from the isolation that had filled my marriage. Then came the day when I unexpectedly crossed paths with Mark at the local grocery store. My heart raced, but this time it wasn't fear. It was empowerment. I held my head high as we passed each other, the fleeting glance exchanging nothing, just two people whose lives had taken entirely different paths. The man who once held my heart looked more like a shadow than a reality as he faded away into the background of my life. In the weeks that followed, I engaged in new experiences, traveling to places I dreamed of, volunteering at local shelters, and even taking weekend trips with friends. The laughter and unity I found were intoxicating. I felt more alive than I had in years, shedding the suffocating weight of regret. One evening, while attending a gallery showcasing local artists, I found myself drawn to a painting depicting a woman standing at the edge of a vast ocean, waves crashing at her feet. The title read, "Rebirth." In that moment, I felt a profound connection, as if the painting mirrored my own journey. I approached the artist, an elderly woman who exuded warmth and wisdom. "This piece captures the essence of freedom," I told her, my voice steady yet emotional. It inspired me to see my own journey. "Art often reflects what lies within us," she replied gently. "You've touched upon the beauty of reclaiming who you are. Embrace it." Her words ignited a spark within me, reaffirming the path I had courageously carved. I was ready to embrace all that lay ahead, armed with resilience and newfound purpose. With every passing day, I learned to welcome change without hesitation. I found joy in cooking, experimenting with spices I'd never tried, and learning to savor every bite. Quiet evenings turned into moments for introspection and gratitude. The silence of my home no longer felt intimidating. It had transformed into a sanctuary of self-discovery. Finally, there came a day when I was able to look in the mirror and see the woman I wanted to be. I had embraced my truth, and in doing so found profound strength. I wandered past the old memories that lingered like ghosts, unafraid of the shadows that had once haunted me. "Mark," I whispered to myself, not with resentment but with a newfound sense of closure. "Thank you for teaching me what I truly deserve." With a full heart and unclouded vision, I stepped into the life I had always dreamt of, a life governed by my choices, where I could navigate my dreams on my terms. Each day was a fresh canvas, and as I stood at the threshold of this new beginning, I embraced the unknown with open arms, ready to thrive. As the seasons shifted, my life transformed, blossoming into a landscape filled with new opportunities. Longing for more than routine, I sought experiences that would open fresh chapters in my story, adventures that would feed my soul and expand my horizons. One crisp autumn afternoon, I discovered a flyer for a writing workshop at the local community center. The idea of expressing my thoughts on paper intrigued me, calling out to the dormant creative spirit within me. Despite a twinge of apprehension, I felt a stirring, an internal urge buoying me forward, encouraging me to seize this chance. Determined, I signed up and soon found myself in a room filled with eclectic individuals, each carrying their stories. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement as I took my seat, a sense of belonging wrapping around me. Our instructor, a charismatic woman with silver-streaked hair, urged us to share our truths in any form that resonated. As I opened my notebook, a familiar feeling of apprehension emerged, but it quickly transformed into eagerness. Words spilled from my pen like an unbridled river, an outpouring of my journey, the pain of betrayal, the sweet embrace of liberation. Each sentence felt liberating, allowing my emotions to manifest on the page. With every workshop, my growing confidence encouraged me to explore themes of resilience and healing. I connected with my peers in unexpected ways, sharing moments of laughter, tears, and truth, an incredible tapestry woven from our raw honesty. One Thursday evening, a fellow participant named Adam approached me after class. His gentle smile put me at ease. "Your writing is powerful. You have a gift," he remarked, sincerity shining in his eyes. "You should consider publishing it." The thought hadn't crossed my mind, and self-doubt crept in. "I don't know if I'm ready for that," I confessed, wrestling with my insecurities. "Every artist starts somewhere," he replied. "You owe it to yourself to share it." His encouragement sparked a flicker of hope within me. Maybe I could. "Maybe I will," I whispered, the idea taking root. By winter, I transformed from a woman cloaked in shadows into an artist embracing her voice. I gathered the courage to submit one of my pieces to a local literary magazine, my heart racing as I clicked send. Excitement melded with anxiety, but optimism surged through me as I anticipated the world catching a glimpse of my truth. A few weeks later, my work was selected for publication, a validation that felt surreal. The day it appeared online, I felt a mix of exhilaration and fear. I read comments from strangers, their kind words a warm embrace that filled me with gratitude. Beyond validation, I cherished the act of sharing my voice. Each word was a brushstroke, painting my truth for others to experience. As spring arrived, I sought to expand my creative pursuits further. I found joy in photography, capturing everyday moments that spoke to me, life unfolding in vibrant colors around me. One chilly evening, I stood before my latest piece, a representation of my journey, intertwining photographs and words. My heart swelled as people lingered, captivated by the stories it told. "You are amazing," a familiar voice chimed, breaking my thoughts. It was Rachel, her eyes shining with pride. "You've become everything you were meant to be." Tears welled in my eyes, not from sadness, but overwhelming gratitude for the journey that brought me to this moment. "Thank you for believing in me." "This is just the beginning," she affirmed, wrapping her arm around me as if we shared a bond forged in resilience. "You have so much more to give." Eager to embrace each day, I participated in local exhibitions and workshops, connecting with others who inspired me to explore my art. Unafraid of vulnerability, I ventured to share my experiences through poetry, painting, and photography, finding comfort in new creative connections and friendships. One day, I felt a longing to return to the ocean, a sacred place that had witnessed my transformation. Standing at the water's edge, waves gently lapping at my feet, I breathed deeply, grateful for the journey I had undertaken. "Thank you for everything and nothing," I whispered to the universe, recognizing how far I had come. I had forged my path filled with resilience, creativity, and love, ready to embrace all that lay ahead. As I looked out at the horizon, the sun setting in hues of orange and pink, I felt a sense of peace. This was my life now, an adventure waiting to unfold, crafted by my choices, My heart, once heavy with doubt, soared with possibilities. Each day was an open canvas, and I stood poised to thrive in whatever new horizons lay ahead. With the wind at my back and dreams fresh in my heart, I embraced the journey of who I was becoming, no longer bound by yesterday, but free to shape my tomorrow. This was my new beginning, and with open arms I stepped forward into a world bursting with hope. As I blossomed into this new chapter, I reflected on my journey, the painful past that forged my resilience, and the supportive community I cultivated around my art. However, amidst the flourishing, an unwelcome reminder of my past emerged. One afternoon, at a gallery opening, I caught sight of him, Mark. My heart dropped. It had been months since our last confrontation, and seeing him made the ground beneath me feel unstable once again. Instinctively, I glanced for an exit, but as I turned to leave, his voice sliced through the ambient chatter like a cold breeze. "Marianne," he called, that old familiar tone layered with faux charm. Swallowing hard, I steadied myself. "Mark," I replied, maintaining a calm facade. I wouldn't allow him to shatter the foundation I'd built. "I see you've been busy," he observed, his gaze sweeping over the small crowd surrounding my artwork. "Your pieces are impressive." His words dripped with condescension, unmistakable even through a polite veneer. "Thank you," I replied, my voice unwavering. I found a new passion. Mark didn't deserve anything more from me. "Are you open to talking?" he asked. "Perhaps we can clear the air." "Clear the air?" I echoed, incredulous at his audacity. "You've had your chance, Mark. I'm not interested in revisiting anything." His eyes narrowed. "You think you've moved on, but you're still in my shadow. You need to understand that." I stood taller, gathering courage. "No, Mark, you're mistaken. The shadow belongs to you, and I finally stepped out of it." "What do you mean? Do you think you can erase our history?" His voice reflected irritation, as if he thought he had a claim over my life. "That history taught me how to value myself," I responded, my words sharpened with clarity. "I've realized I deserve more than what you ever offered." With a final icy stare, I turned my back to him, seeking refuge among friends. Their laughter and conversation embraced me, reminding me that I was not alone. Yet, the encounter left me unsettled. Memories of manipulation and betrayal flooded back, causing a churning in my stomach. I asked myself, had I truly reclaimed my life, or was I still trapped in his web? After a restless night, I picked up the phone and called Rachel. I needed her reassurance. Meeting at our favorite cafe, I poured out my heart. "I saw him," I admitted, the weight of that meeting heavy on my soul. Rachel set her coffee down, her expression shifting to one of sincere compassion. "That must have been difficult, but remember your strength, Marianne. Don't let his presence steal your power." "I'm trying," I said, the anxiety boiling inside me. "But I can't shake the feelings he evokes. It's like I'm right back there, paralyzed." "Of course, healing isn't straightforward. You've overcome so much. But like your art, you're continuously evolving. You're not the same woman he once knew. You've built something beautiful from the wreckage." Her words resonated deep within me. I nodded, finding solace in her truth. "I know I've grown, but facing him felt like a challenge I wasn't ready for." "You control how you respond," and she reminded me firmly. "This time, don't allow him to dictate your emotions. Focus on the life you're creating, a life worth celebrating." Reassured, I returned to my art, pouring my swirling emotions onto the canvas. I painted fervently, channeling both my anger and resilience. Each brushstroke became a declaration of strength and liberation, crafting a piece that encapsulated my journey towards self-discovery. With every session at the easel, I reclaimed my confidence. I worked diligently to capture the turmoil and triumph that defined my life, as colors intertwined boldly, creating a visual representation of my rebirth. When I stepped back to examine my creation, pride surged through me. This piece depicted not just my journey, but my unwavering spirit, the essence of who I had become. The future stretched before me, vibrant and full of promise. I acknowledged the truth within my heart. Mark's shadow had grown smaller as I flourished. I resolved not to let his presence overshadow the beauty I was creating and embracing. I would keep pushing forward into this new chapter where each day presented opportunities for growth. With Rachel's encouragement echoing in my mind, I returned to my routine of artistic expression, empowering myself to share my story without fear. I engaged in local exhibitions and continued to connect with the community that had become my support system. With each interaction, I felt emboldened to embrace my vulnerability. As I stood before my latest piece at an upcoming exhibition, I felt a sense of tranquility and pride. This artwork was a testament to my journey, colorful and rich with meaning, inviting viewers to witness the transformation that had taken place. No longer bound to the burdens of my past, I was ready to offer my truth to the world. I had emerged from the shadows, filled with light and optimism. This was my narrative, a canvas alive with hope, artistry, and strength. I welcomed the future with open arms, determined to thrive and inspire others with the resilience I had fought so hard to cultivate. As I looked out at the crowd gathering to admire my work, I knew this was just the beginning, a chapter poised to shine brighter than any before. The night of the exhibition arrived, crackling with excitement. My heart raced as I stepped into the gallery, where my artwork hung vibrant against the white walls. The air buzzed with chatter and laughter as friends and fellow artists filtered through the space, appreciating the creativity blossoming around them. As I took it all in, I savored the sense of pride thrumming within me. However, just as I began to relax, I caught sight of him, Mark. He was lurking at the edge of the crowd, looking deliberately detached, yet his gaze was locked on me. A cold wave of anxiety washed over me, threatening to pull me back to the turmoil of the past. "Breathe," I whispered to myself, glancing away from him. I remembered Rachel's words of support. "You're in control." I turned back to my friends, who smiled at me with warmth that melted away some of the fear. As I mingled, sharing stories about my art journey, Mark suddenly approached me, cutting through my gathering emotions like a knife. "Marianne," he said, his voice smooth yet condescending. "This is quite the transformation. Impressive work." "Thank you," I replied, striving to keep my tone steady despite the familiar tension bubbling beneath the surface. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "You know, you shouldn't forget where you came from and who helped you get here." His words dripped with arrogance, reminding me of the chains I had fought to break. "Exactly," I said, forcing myself to meet his gaze. "I know where I came from. It's a chapter I've closed." Surprise flickered in his eyes. "You think a little art changes everything?" "It's not just art," I declared, feeling the fire within me ignite. "This represents my growth, my story, and you aren't part of it anymore." His expression hardened. "You'll realize this is just a phase, one that won't last." "No, Mark," I retorted, my voice steady. "I've built a new life filled with support and inspiration. A life where I can speak my truth." Before he could respond, I turned to rejoin my friends, leaving him to grapple with the unexpected blow. I felt lighter, buoyed by my own courage. As I laughed and chatted with fellow artists, the specter of Mark faded, overshadowed by the warmth and encouragement I found in the community surrounding me. In the following days, however, the confrontation lingered in my thoughts. Had I truly moved on? Or was there still a part of me tethered to my past? I pushed those doubts aside, channeling that restlessness into my artwork. With each brushstroke, I transformed my uncertainty into vibrant colors and textures, crafting an entirely new series that celebrated resilience and renewal. I poured my heart onto the canvas, drawing inspiration from my experiences and the plethora of emotions they stirred. I signed up for a mixed media workshop that opened up a new frontier of creativity. Making those daily trips to my studio became a refuge where I could explore and articulate my identity beyond the depths of my past. Art became my sanctuary, a vessel for my voice, and in the process, I discovered new dimensions of myself that I'd never considered. Each layer of paint I added spoke of hope and rebirth, capturing the beauty of my journey and all the people who had supported me. Amid this blossoming creativity, I was reminded of the world outside my studio. I began sharing my work more broadly on social media, and I was taken aback by the responses I received. Messages of encouragement came flooding in from across diverse communities. People connected with my story, the essence of navigating through pain and fear to ultimately embrace one's truest self. One evening, while immersed in painting, a direct message popped up from an art curator who had seen my work online. "I'd love to showcase your pieces in an upcoming group exhibition," she wrote succinctly. I blinked at the screen, disbelief mixing with exhilaration. This could be my chance to reach a wider audience, to share my story on a grand stage. Excited yet anxious, I dove into preparation, selecting pieces that represented my journey, the ones that spoke of resilience and transformation. Each canvas was a testament not just to my growth, but to the support of my friends, the very people who believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. As I prepared for the upcoming exhibition, the overwhelming anticipation coursed through me. I was ready to reclaim my voice, to stand confidently in the light I had cultivated. I paused to reflect, realizing how transformative this journey had become. I was no longer ensnared in fear or doubt. I'd emerged fiercely resolute with the support of a community that cherished authenticity. In the mirror, I found not just a reflection but a promise. I was ready to step forward, to paint my future with the colors of determination, hope, and creativity. As I stood there, smiling at the woman I had become, I felt the weight of my past dimming against the vibrancy of my present. Together with the art I created, I looked toward the horizon, eager to embrace the journey ahead, thriving, inspired, and unafraid. This was more than a new challenge. It was a chance to shine,